saying this? Matthew?
I guess so. Poor guy.
Divorced. When I'm told what to want, when I'm told how to behave, when I'm told what my values are, through time I forget who I am and what I want anymore.
This could be all kinds of things. I'm just waiting to see
like,
what do you
no,
notice?
No, it's not too bad. He's like, I noticed that most Persians have a career, but they have a passion on the side that they never pursued. Resentment is a very good clue to know that you're people pleasing.
It's August 13, 2026. This is Roqe. Hi there, welcome to episode 456 of Roqe. I'm Jian Ghomeshi. Hello to you from Toronto. Salam dostan aziz, durud bar shoma. Hope you're doing okay wherever you are tuning in from around the world. It is August. There is a lot going on in the global Iranian space, and I should note that we're launching our new season of Roqe on Thursday, September 10th. That will be the 8th season of this show, and we have some big guests lined up for September and beyond. In the meantime, we've got a new episode today, which I'll get to in a minute, and then for the next 3 weeks, some of our favorite guests Redux, including Soleiman Vaseghi, the great Soli, who just turned 80, the dynamic Iranian singer and songwriter and musician Kamyar, certainly one of the best Iranian voices in the world, and an episode on Iranian cinema and how it grew and flourished in the Pahlavi era before the Islamic Revolution of 1979. That's coming up in the next 3 weeks. Our new season starts September 10th. Remember, you can support what we do here at Roqe by becoming a sponsor. You can contact us at info@roqemedia.com, or you can give us some support of any amount on YouTube with the super thanks button. That's the thing that on your mobile phone, you'll see the little 3 dots underneath the YouTube video. You can press on that where it says thanks. Just hit the thanks button and it'll tell you what to do. Any amount is appreciated. Remember, you can also subscribe on any or all of our platforms. It is free: Apple, Spotify, SoundCloud, CastBox, YouTube, Telegram, etc. All right, coming up on this 456th episode of Roqe, what happens when being kind, accommodating, and wanting to make others happy becomes something more damaging when people-pleasing means slowly losing yourself? Iranian-Canadian therapist, life coach, and author, one of our favorites, Sara Rahimi, joins me to talk about her new book, Enough Already, it's called. Why we become people pleasers, how our childhood and culture shape that instinct, and the Iranian obsession with meeting expectations, and how setting boundaries might help us rediscover who we really are. Let's get to it. Let me tell you about Avoca. This episode of Roqe is brought to you with the support of Avoca Chocolates, and they have a brand new location in Toronto. We are thrilled that this small non-Iranian company in Toronto has stepped up to support Iranians over the last few months. Noni Fembi and her staff at Avoca have been making handmade artisanal chocolate in Toronto for over 30 years. Family owned and operated, they have dedicated themselves to the art of making delicious treats, including truffles and ice cream and gelato, made without compromise. Avoca has focused on high quality ingredients with fair trade chocolate, all made fresh daily in one of their 2 locations in East Toronto. So they've just opened a brand new spot at 689 Broadview Avenue in Riverdale in Toronto. If you're in the Toronto area, go and visit one of their great chocolate shops and thank them for their support and taste these delicious handmade chocolates and ice cream. If you cannot go in person, you can get their products online at avocachocolates.com. avocachocolates.com. Thank you again, Avoca. All right, let's get to our featured guest today. She has spent years helping people ask some of life's hardest questions. Why do we lose ourselves trying to make everyone else happy? Why do we stay silent when we should speak up? Why do so many of us spend our lives chasing approval instead of authenticity? Sara Rahimi is an Iranian-Canadian licensed therapist, certified life coach, trauma-informed practitioner, and author. She has dedicated her career to helping people heal, rebuild their confidence, and rediscover their sense of self. Many of you may also know her from her memoir, Little Sara of Tehran, in which she shared her journey from childhood in Iran to building a new life in Canada. Now, she's back with a brand new book, Enough Already, an exploration of people-pleasing, boundaries, authenticity, and what happens when we become so focused on meeting everyone else's expectations that we gradually lose touch with ourselves. And although much of the book is written with women in mind, its central message is one that resonates far beyond gender. How do we stop living for other people's approval and start living according to our own values? Sara Rahimi is one of our favorite returning guests here on Roqe, and it's always a thoughtful conversation when she joins us. Welcome back to the Roqe studio, Sara Rahimi. Hello.
Thank you. Hello. Thank you so much for having me, Jian.
So nice to have you here. Congratulations on your new baby.
Thank you. Thank you.
Enough Already. I feel like it's like an omnibus. I feel like it could be this book, by the way, is currently right now on the bestseller list on Amazon Canada. It's available around the world on Amazon. Bestseller list for nonfiction. I feel like partly it's because Enough Already can apply to everything. That's the way we're feeling. Exactly. You know, it could apply to Iran. It could be applied to, right? It's a good title.
Oh, yeah. So that's actually what I had in mind when I started that. Enough Already, like بس دیگه. And I thought, okay, so with whatever that is happening in Iran, executions and a lot of things. But I thought, you know what? I'm going to start this movement, Enough Already, #people pleasing. And then we move from there and see where it goes.
So that's right. The spine of the book, what the book is actually about, and specifically the focus is people pleasing. So what is people pleasing and why do we do it?
Okay, so people pleasing is when I displease myself in the process of pleasing others. Or when I, let's say, put your priority, put you and other people first, second, third, and I put my priorities or my needs and my wants fourth. So that's people pleasing.
So what's an example of that? I mean, there's a million, but
okay, so
what comes to mind for you?
Any times that you ask me something and I can't say no to you. I have so many things to do, but I can't say no to you. And I'm pretty sure that you have experienced that a lot. You have so many examples. Tell me.
I was telling you right before we started recording, actually, that as I was reading this book, I was thinking this resonates for me still.
Yeah.
As you know, a person decades into my life, I'm thinking I struggle with this almost every day. You know, am I making this decision just to make somebody happy rather than what's actually good for me?
Exactly. And you know what? There is a huge difference. Like, we all want to help. We all want to, you know, be the good person. We all want to please others, and it's okay. But there is a difference between kindness and people pleasing. Like, there is a very thin boundary. I can, whenever I put you first and I say no to myself and to my needs, and then it becomes a pattern, then that's when it becomes very unhealthy for myself, because it's impacting my mental health, my physical health, my well-being, my relationships, and everything else. And then guess what happens? I become overwhelmed and I become frustrated. And then I go to the therapist and I say, I feel so much anxiety. I'm so overwhelmed. I'm depressed. I don't know how to manage my life and my relationships. I say I stay long hours at work, and you know, my kids are not happy with this. My husband is not happy with that, and my friends are not. And you realize that, okay, so this is too much for me. And then you go, when you see your doctor, and this is what happens here. When you go to see your family physician, they say, oh, okay, so why don't you take antidepressant or anti-anxiety medication?
And then you do the people pleasing by saying, okay, doctor, I'll take this.
Yeah.
So I want to come back to the difference between kindness, because I think that's an important, what's kindness, what's people pleasing. It's an important distinction that it's complicated. I want to come to that. But first, you talk about how this is baked into us from childhood, and that we choose connection oftentimes as kids, especially around our parental figures, over authenticity. Talk to me about that.
Okay, so I'll give you an example. When I grew up in a family where there was lots of tension in the family. Like my parents were always arguing with each other, okay? If I want to feel safe at home, and I don't want to overwhelm my parents because they're already overwhelmed, I don't want to stress them out because they're already stressed. So to feel safe, I just keep quiet. To feel safe, I don't disagree with them. To feel safe, I just obey whatever they say. I say yes to whatever they say, right? And it's because I want to feel safe, and I choose connection because those are my parents, those are my caregivers, and I don't have anybody else except my parents, so I want to keep them happy. So by keeping them happy, I become a people pleaser, but I'm just ignoring my own needs and my own wants. So I choose people pleasing or connection with my caregivers over authenticity.
So give me an example of that in the case of a kid, because part of the job of a kid is to listen to the parents, right? If the kid's authenticity may be, I don't want to go to math class, but the kid should go to math class. That's not people pleasing. That's doing what your parents are guiding you to do, right?
Correct.
So give me an example where, for a kid, they're choosing connection over authenticity.
So when you disagree with your parents, let's say, and especially in our culture, Jian, we, at least women, we grew up with this concept of the good girl. دختر خوب. The good girl doesn't do this. The good girl doesn't speak up. The good girl doesn't laugh loud. The good girl doesn't disrespect the older person. The good girl does this. So there's so many suppression. Like you have to suppress a lot of your opinions, a lot of your needs, a lot of your wishes, a lot of your wants to feel safe, because you don't want to feel that disconnection, or better to say you want to feel safe. And that's why we say people pleasing is a survival strategy. People pleasing is, okay, let me give you an example. Think of a chameleon. So a chameleon goes into every environment and blends in because a chameleon wants to protect itself from any danger. But through time, the chameleon loses its true color. So it's the same thing. So after a while, when I'm told what to want, when I'm told how to behave, when I'm told what my values are, through time, I forget who I am and what I want anymore. I don't even know what
And you don't have to be a kid
what I want anymore. Exactly.
So for that to happen, you can be in your 50s and feel that. A good girl can't laugh loud? Really? That was one of the things?
Well, yeah.
I didn't know that.
Oh, God. Really?
Wish somebody had told my sister, who was cackling in the house. No, really, I did. Is that?
And I laugh loud, actually.
That's a thing, huh?
صدا تو بیار پایین. Oh my God, you're so loud, Sarah. صدا تو زشته. Or this concept of آبرو that we have, Jian. Like I remember everything. Like my father was always telling me, do whatever you want to do, but آبروی منو نبر. I'm like, what does that mean? So if I go out with my boyfriend, آبروی منو بردی. Like, okay, so if you laugh loud, آبروی منو بردی. If you're seen, I don't know, having a bubble gum, then you آبروی منو بردی. So it's a lot of...
So there was a term that I didn't know until I read your book, or I hadn't come across it, called sociotropy. Sociotropy?
Yes, correct.
Sociotropy.
Yes.
And it refers to what you're talking about. It's the fear of conflict, right?
Yes.
That you agree to something
Yeah.
as a kid or as an adult to avoid conflict. Is that right?
Yes, to avoid conflict, because in cultures like the collectivistic cultures, social acceptance is very important. We all heard this, oh, دیگران بقیه چی فکر میکنن? What do other people are going to think if
Of
you do
course,
this, if you
right,
do that?
right.
همسایه چی میگه؟
Right.
You know, خالت چی میگه؟ عمو چی میگه؟ If you color your hair red or blonde or whatever, oh my God, do you even think about us?
Right. But where's the line between being your authentic self and agree and not people pleasing constantly, but where's the line between that and being a difficult person? In other words, if I say to you, I mean, isn't part of life compromising, working with people? So if I say to you, Sarah, the sound check is at 4:30, and your authentic self says to me, "No, I'm not coming in till 7." You know that you're being difficult, aren't you? You're not being your authentic self.
Yes.
I mean, and I say, well, actually, we need you to. Can we find the middle? No, I'm going to be. So talk to me about where that line is. I mean, how do we navigate that? Because if we take this to the bank, the I'm not people pleasing thing, then don't you risk being someone who's just obstinate, who's just difficult?
So, yeah, that's a good question. So, yes, there's people pleasing, there is kindness, and there is being selfish. We don't want to be selfish. We can be our true and authentic self without being rude. So, for example, if something is not working for me, if let's say 4 o'clock is not working for me, and then I can say, oh, I'm sorry, Jian, this is not working for me. Let's schedule it another time, or is it okay? So let's figure out how we can work around this, right? I'm being kind, but I'm also expressing what works for me.
Right.
I don't keep quiet.
Right.
I don't keep quiet because I want to make sure that Jian likes me. So a lot of people, like when we people please, is because we want to feel belong. We want to have that connection with people. We want to be liked by other people.
But we're also told that to be a good citizen, you should put others first, aren't we? I mean, to a certain extent, that's the guiding principle of being a good human. It's, open the door for somebody else, make sure you're there for them, put the mask on the kid before you put it on your,
No. Okay, that's a good one. That's a good
example. Actually, you put the mask on yourself first.
Exactly. You put the mask for yourself first because you want to make sure you have enough energy and time for other people. Like, okay, I'm a therapist. If I don't practice my own self-care, let's say if a lot of my clients want to have sessions on the weekends.
Right.
Okay. If I say yes to them, it means I'm saying no to my self-care. I'm saying no to my own, peaceful weekends or whatever that I have to work on and focus on, right? So, and if I say no to myself and I say yes to my clients, what do you think is going to happen, Gia?
You're not going to be as good a therapist.
Exactly. Because I probably feel frustrated or overwhelmed or exhausted or burnout. So I wouldn't be as good therapist for maybe other clients because I'm stretching myself too thin.
But if you say, Jian, I've got to get to the doctor and I need a ride. And it doesn't necessarily work for my schedule to give you a ride, but I think most people would consider it a good gesture for me to say, okay, I'll give you the ride, right? So that's being a good person, putting your needs ahead of mine to take you to the doctor.
Yes, but so the question is it a pattern for me? Is it
to always ask me for a ride, and I always say yes.
Yes.
I see. Right.
Because I used to actually do that. So when I came here first, and this is 15, 16 years ago, and I was new here. I had no family, I had no friends, and I wanted to feel belong. I wanted to have friends. I wanted to, everybody, like me, because I didn't have anybody here. So and I was that person driving everybody around from Richmond Hill to downtown, and I was exhausted, but I was like, no, I'll take you,
Right.
I'll pick you up. But it comes at a cost. What is the cost? Is it my default? Is it a pattern in my life? Of course, we say yes, and it's a nice gesture. But if it's a default and a pattern, and then you get to the point of resentment.
Yeah, I was going to say.
So resentment.
We know people. I mean, I can think of some people like this.
Yeah.
I guess it's a form of being passive aggressive too. To where they say, "Nah, Baba, I'll do this.
I'll
I'll pay."
Yeah. Oh yeah.
And then then they have that in their mind for the next 10 years.
Exactly.
I paid for that coffee.
And then they may even go and talk behind your back. Jian قدر نمیدونه. I did this for him. I did that for him. So resentment is a very good clue to know that you're people pleasing. So I say, oh, no, I pay for this. And I'm like, I didn't want to do this.
Right.
If I say it once and I ignore it, it's okay. But if it's twice or 3 times, again, if it's a pattern or a default, then it shows that I'm people pleasing. So many stories I hear from my clients, Jian. And I used to be a big people pleaser myself. I consider myself as a recovering people. I'm still people
You were driving
pleasing.
everyone around town, apparently.
Not anymore. Yeah. Oh my God, I was in a very nice car.
By the way, don't laugh so loudly. It's inelegant.
Even when I go to the gym from the second floor, they go, "Oh, Sarah is here. We can hear her laugh."
I think in your case, it wasn't about being a good girl. It was the sanity of your parents with that laugh.
It's too loud.
I kid. I actually love the laugh. I love loud laughs.
Thank you. Yes, so that resentment, for example, there are people coming from Iran, your friend or, family members, and they want a place to stay. And they ask you, Jian, can you maybe, just rent a place for us? You're like, no, please come and stay with me. I'll be more than happy. You're more than welcome. And you don't even ask how long they're going to stay.
Yeah.
They stay. You're a type of person that you need your privacy, but you keep quiet. You don't say anything. You bottle up, and they laugh loud.
Yeah.
And they interrupt your shows or whatever.
Yeah.
So, and then you become like...
This happened to me.
Yeah.
Although at least Iranians, for the most part, understand that what you're doing is taarrufing, or you're offering something that they won't necessarily exploit to the hilt. When I was 18, I went on a Europe trip, backpacking kind of, and I met this Australian couple. Pip and Fran, and I said, come visit Canada, and they said, great,
Oh, okay.
So they wrote a few months later and said, we're coming to Canada, and I said, oh, you must stay with me, They came, first of all, not all Australians, but Australians are very open, in my experience, with come stay at my place. Like they're sort of also because Australia is so remote, people who go there are usually visiting there, need a place to stay for a while, whatever, and they do the same. It's just culturally different from the hyper privacy of some Persians, etc. And I had offered this because this is what we say, this is the way we act as Persians. Oh no, you must come and stay with me, fully expecting them to say no, we couldn't, or okay, we'll stay for a day or two, and then we'll get a hotel. They stayed for a month. They stayed for almost 5 weeks.
Oh my goodness!
I was so angry at these people. And then but I couldn't say anything. I'd offered them, they were just living at my house. They came from us living in my house. That's an ultimate.
How did that end?
badly. It ended well. I mean, it ended by them leaving, and I still have a place to stay in Australia if I get years later. I guess if I because I never cashed in that chip. But we really didn't. We weren't friends anymore after that because I was just so frustrated with these people.
Yeah.
I mean, they were. They kind of moved in. They were eating the food. They were hanging around all the house, but I mean, is that people pleasing or is that just?
It is.
It is people pleasing. Yeah.
Because you did not communicate your boundaries with them. You didn't even say, "Oh, you know what? So this is kindness. Why don't you come and stay with me? And I will be more than happy to have you for a week."
Right.
This is kindness.
Right.
And if you can't do that, you can say, "You know what? I can help you by, just looking around and finding a place for you guys to stay." So this is kindness. I'm basically talking about my boundaries. I'm communicating my boundaries. But if I don't say anything and I expect them to do what's in my head,
right,
like leave in a week or don't do this in the house.
I didn't expect them to come for 5 weeks.
Exactly, right?
Which was normal to them. We're from Australia. We're coming to the other side of the world.
Yeah.
We'll
what do you
stay for
expect
5 weeks.
Yeah.
In your small apartment where we're, occupying it. We're holding you hostage for.
I know. And then that you said that it ended badly. You got angry. You got frustrated. You feel so.
I mean, we never fought or anything, but I wasn't as enthusiastic about these people as I was beforehand.
Yes.
Obviously.
And you know what happens? What I hear a lot, Jian, especially at this time and age of the social media, people block each other, and the other person doesn't even know what happened.
Right.
I hear that from my clients all the time.
So how's that tied into people pleasing?
So when, let's say in your case, when you feel so frustrated, you bottle up, you don't express what you need, you don't communicate your boundaries and anything, and then you think that, oh, they should have known this better, So, and then when they leave, you are full of resentment that you don't even want to talk to these people. And you want to disconnect, and you just block them.
But I also think where that story started, talking about the cultural divide, the Iranian. I mean, I'm a kid who grew up here, but I've got this the DNA of someone taught by my parents to be, Iranian in terms of offering this largesse. When I was reading your book, I mean, you're not really, I think you mentioned it a couple times, but it's not really geared for Iranians or something like that. It's not an Iranian-specific book.
Collectivistic cultures.
Collectivistic culture. But I thought, wow, this notion, this idea of people-pleasing is particularly problematic for Iranians, in the case of Iranians, where the culture is kind of built around this veneer of respect and wanting to show your kindness to others, etc. That oftentimes is quite superficial. Let's face it; it's not even within the culture itself. It's not real.
Yeah.
So it's a double. It's 2 times the problem in terms of the people pleasing. Were you thinking about Iranians partly when you wanted to address this?
Oh yeah, for sure. Because most of my clients are women. Like I would say 60 to 70% of my clients are Persian, and a lot of them are women. And the rest are either married to an Iranian or they're actually from collectivistic culture. So, and I see that a lot in my clients and in the sessions and the things that they talk about, and of course, and you know what happens, Jian? So let's say you learn in an Iranian family, you learn to be the good girl, and this good girl do not express her opinion and do not disagree, let's say, with her father. Okay, they come here as an immigrant. They work. They go to meetings with their managers, with their boss. And do you know what happens? They cannot disagree or they cannot even express their opinion. And the feedback they get is, oh, so you should actually, if you have something in mind, you should speak up.
Speak up, yeah.
But they come having that in mind that, oh, so if my manager or if my boss, who's a superior, is saying something, I shouldn't disagree with that person. But they don't know that, this is holding you back from the next promotion, from the next raise, from the next, they're always complaining about that. Oh, we don't have that confidence to even talk to that manager because we think that, oh, it's zeshte, But then the feedback that we get, like the performance review and stuff, is something different, and I'm not used to it.
One of the things that is great in this book is that for most of what you're talking about, you give an example without using names of what you've learned from your clients, from people for whom you are a therapist. This notion of people pleasing to the point of forgetting who you are, losing yourself. Can you describe an example of that, of what you've seen in terms of, I think that, people watching or listening to this can resonate, will resonate, this will resonate, but give us an example of someone who got to the point where she'd lost herself, or he'd forgotten who he was because of this, the level of people pleasing.
Okay, so imagine, like, this is just the imaginary person. Imagine you study the major that your parents want you to study. Like me, myself. I always liked psychology. I loved, gymnastics and everything. I mentioned that in my first book. But I was supposed to be the engineer of the family.
Right.
Okay, so my parents wanted me to study computer science. I hated that. I absolutely hated that. And then when I went and studied something else, they said, okay, so at least you should become get your PhD and stuff in this. And again, I hated that, So you listen to your parents. This is what they want you to study. This is who they want you to become.
Right.
And this is who they want you to marry to. And then now it transfers to your husband. Now you want to go and, let's say, get a job at here or there or continue your education. And then your husband says, oh, no, it's okay. I'll, take care of everything. And you sit down and take care of the kids. And you sit down and take care of the kids. And when your kids grow up, they come to me and they say, okay, now I don't know what to do. I don't know. I have lots of time on my hand. I don't like myself anymore. And I want to work. I want to start a business. I don't even know what I like. Because they always pay attention to what other people in their life want.
Right.
Another example is that, again, focusing on Iranians, a lot of immigrants come here, and because of the culture and respect and everything, they bring their parents. They're already stressed. They're already stressed here, but they bring their parents to take care of them. And now, on top of their own stress, they have their parents to take care of. So they have 2 mortgages. Now they have, they have to go and take the kids to the family physician, and then their parents to the clinics or whatever to do their tests. So now they're overwhelmed. Now they're also working. So then they are like, we don't know what we want anymore, because we are always putting other people first.
The people pleasing with the Iranian parents, the Persian dad, is one of the greatest divides I've seen between folks, Canadian folks I grew up with here, for lack of a better, everybody's from somewhere, but let's call them Canadian, and Iranians, in the sense that you will regularly, I can think of a few examples, find, say, a 35-year-old woman or man who are who have subjected their life, who um, have given over their life to what their Persian dad wants. No, you can't date this person. No, you have to stay in this job. No, you have to. And you can't imagine a 35-year-old, Canadian who's been here for generations, by their 30s at the very least, somebody would say, Dad, I appreciate your opinion. I love you, but this is what I've chosen. I'm an adult. We can't do that. It's hard to do that in Persian culture.
It is.
And depending on how aggressive the parent is in wanting to sort of lay down the rules, this is a huge divide. And so that people pleasing becomes, and as I'm talking about this, people who are listening and watching probably thinking examples of this, where the person becomes lost. All of a sudden you're 35, 40 years old, and I'm not doing the job I wanted. I didn't get to marry the person I liked. I didn't get, who am I?
Yeah. Yeah. And this is exactly what happened to me. Like, that's why a lot of people, it's very interesting. So, you know that Matt is Canadian. So, and what he observed.
Matt is your partner.
Yes, my husband. What he observed is very interesting, Jian. After a while, hanging out with a lot of Persians, he said, I noticed, I'm not joking.
This could be all kinds of things. I'm just waiting to see what did you notice?
No, it's not too bad. He's like, I noticed that most Persians have a career, but they have a passion on the side that they never pursued. He saw, let's say, doctors, engineers, architects that they would love. They are great singers.
Yeah.
They're great artists, and he's like, why is that?
Yeah.
I'm like, well, because we had to be whatever our parents wanted us to be, and then somebody like Sarah comes here at, in her 30s, and now she's divorced. Now she has no parents to tell her what to do anymore. And now she's lost. Oh, shoot. What do I want to do in my life?
And how do you not fall back into that pattern?
It's hard.
Of Matt becoming the surrogate for your parents. Right?
Yeah, exactly. It's very hard. It's very hard. And it's important to know, to be able to identify what my values are, and then behave and act on those values. Because all my life I lived based on someone else's values. You know what I mean?
You talk about in the book, later in the book, you talk about how this can lead to this people pleasing, which when you first say it, it sounds quite benign. It's like people pleasing. Come on, Dige. What's wrong with people pleasing?
Yeah.
You talk about how this can lead to real mental issues, depression, anxiety, etc. Can you reflect on that?
Yeah. So, like a lot of, again, clients that come to my office, first they say, I'm overwhelmed. And, okay, what's going on? I'm dealing with anxiety. I can't sleep at night. I have back pain. I have this. I have that. I have sleep issues and digestive issues and stuff. And so when I ask them about their routine, what is it that you do during the day? What is it that, and then I see that a lot of them are spending a lot of time, again, doing a lot of things for other people and putting themselves last. And there is this book, I don't know, I mentioned that actually in the book, Body Keeps the Score. And it explains beautifully that how all those bottled up emotions that we don't express and we don't talk about, they are stored in our body. Trauma stores are stored in our body, and then somehow they have to find a way out, you know? So then you're like, oh, I don't know why I have these crazy headaches every day. I have migraine, I have digestive issues, and we don't listen to our body.
Yeah. I mean, the way out of this is, you talk about the importance of understanding and setting boundaries. So what do healthy boundaries look like? What do healthy boundaries look like that realistically don't offend the other person? Especially in the Iranian. Listen, I mean, let's be real. We're in a moment where, you know, everybody seems overwhelmed. Everybody seems angry and stressed, particularly obviously in the Iranian space after the last 6 or 7 months.
True.
So part of me, honestly, you know, when I look at it, people taking shots at each other and on Instagram, et cetera, part of me wants to say, actually, so a little bit of people pleasing wouldn't be bad for our community, you know? So how do we set those boundaries in a way that feels healthy rather than in a way that's going to create divisions?
Kind boundaries. So first of all, every healthy relationship needs to have boundaries. And it's important for us to first know our boundaries to be able to communicate them, right? And there are so many different boundaries. There are mental boundaries, emotional boundaries, physical boundaries, sexual boundaries, financial boundaries. There are lots of boundaries. So first of all, we have to be clear on our own boundaries to be able to communicate them. Second, in a very kind way, and it's funny because we think that when we want to set boundaries, we just have to say no. And of course, when you, Sarah, can you do this for me? No. So of course, it's kind of, you know, disrespectful and not nice. And I noticed that a lot of us never really learned how to nicely and assertively communicate our boundaries. For example, if you say, let's say, Sarah, can you post this on social media for me? This is what I get a lot. Probably you do too, right?
Yeah.
Okay, Sarah, so I have this event.
Please collab. Yeah.
Please collab.
Yeah.
Or can you please just, you know, reshare, post it on your social media or, I don't know, story and stuff. Okay, I want to say no.
Yeah.
And instead of saying, no, I can't do that, what would you say in this situation? I want to ask.
It's a great example because it's a realistic example and one that I struggle with. I mean, I usually say I don't do a lot of that. You know, in general, posting other people's things and stuff like that because I get asked a lot, and so. I will promote as in some way that I can. For sure, I'll try and support, but I may not reshare or collaborate on your
that's
post.
A good one. That's a boundary. You said no without saying no.
Yeah.
Right? So you basically, one
I think it might still piss people off, you know.
Okay.
They're really, really into the idea of you sharing their posts, you know. I'm not sure how.
And actually, that's the part of it. We should be able to sit with other people's discomfort and ours.
Yeah.
Because we do feel guilty too.
Yeah.
Right? Again, growing up in that culture with a lot of, you know, being guilt tripped all the time.
Yeah.
So we feel guilty. So we should be able to sit with that discomfort, and we should be able to sit with other people's discomfort. And this is where I explain in the book about that.
So sorry, what do you say?
Same thing. I say, I was asked actually a lot, and I say, you know what, I can't do this. Once actually I mentioned this to a friend and she said, can you do this? I said, to be honest, this person's values don't seem very aligned with mine. So I can't put this on my social media, but I can share it in the other group networks that I have.
Okay. Yeah.
Because if I'm putting something on social media,
It's an endorsement.
It's
Yeah.
an endorsement.
Yeah.
Exactly. It's an endorsement. So, and if I don't really have the same values with that person, or if I don't like that person, right? So, and I don't want to do that, but I'm being kind. I want to do something. I can help you, but in other ways. So it's always good to kind of offer something else. I can't do this, but I can do this.
Yeah.
Right?
Dear Sarah, I'm no longer going to make breakfast for you ever again, but I can offer you a sandwich once in a while.
Who is saying this? Matthew?
I guess so. Poor guy.
Divorced.
Right. Well, he has to be ready for that, right?
You know what?
He's so tired of making breakfast for you.
It's always... Okay, so first of all, relationships matter. So you have to know who's asking you for what, you know? So is it your mom? Is it your husband? Is it your friend? Or is it just somebody that you know?
Your Persian dad.
Or your Persian dad. Oh my God. Your Persian dad. But then, okay, so you can't make breakfast for me. Tell me why. What is it that, you know, you feel uncomfortable?
It takes too much of my time.
Okay.
I'm finding that I'm beginning to resent you because every day, you know, I don't even know if you appreciate it anymore or understand the amount of time I spend making you breakfast every day. And
what would you like to see more often? What would you like to see that to help you with that?
Maybe you could make breakfast for me. You always say you're too busy with your clients. But frankly, I don't even need to see anything. I just don't want to do it anymore.
Well,
dear Sarah, I'm saying it kindly.
But that resentment part is very good. And I would actually, if I'm somebody who is emotionally intelligent, I would say thank you so much for communicating your emotions with me, because it's important. If you feel,
now make me some eggs.
No, honestly, I'll make you an omelet now.
or we're headed to divorce court.
I'll make you an omelet. But yeah, because resentment is important. It's a very good clue that something is off. Something is off. And of course, people should be able to talk about this. I give you an example. You know those people who call you for hours and hours and hours and they talk, and a lot of times you can't even hang up the phone.
Right.
And I was asking actually, I think I asked this question on my social media. I said, what would you do when your friend calls? Do you have that type of friend that they would call you? They're like, yeah, we start cleaning the house. We start, you know, or we always get those calls when we are driving somewhere to work, let's say, right? But it's okay to do that. Of course, you're being kind to your friend, but you don't want to be your friend's therapist. And again, I get that a lot. So, Sara, I get tired and I feel frustrated because now I'm becoming like a therapist to this friend, and I don't even want to answer the calls anymore. So the kind way, or the assertive or kind way again to set that boundary is, Jian, I see that you're going through a lot and I want to be the good friend for you, but I have a feeling that I can't really help you a lot. Do you think that if I don't know, suggest a few therapists can, you know, that can help you actually, would you be open to that? This is very kind.
Yeah, that hasn't gone over so well for me when I've suggested somebody see a therapist.
No?
No, I don't know. I mean, because I've gone to therapists my whole life. But
Yeah.
So I remember suggesting that once to somebody who took it in the very negatively.
Really?
Yeah.
Or maybe you can just simply ask, let's see how else we can, you know, help you resolve this issue.
One thing I'm struggling with is that don't you, is there ever a time when people pleasing can actually be a part of self-improvement. In other words, you're learning to be a better person by people pleasing in some cases. No?
Give me an example.
I just think it can't be too rigid. If Roham says, "Hey man, can you help me move?" Of course I don't really want to subjugate my day to helping him move. Mm-hmm. So that's people pleasing. But
no.
But I'm a good friend to him. Mm-hmm. If I say, "Yeah, I'll help him move."
You don't want to help him just because you don't want to help him, or you don't want to help him because you have 200 other stuff to do.
Right. For example, sure.
Okay. So if you have 200 other stuff to do, mm-hmm. and you say yes to him, and then you go back home and you have 200 other stuff, and then you have to stay up late and then resent him.
Yes, but on the other hand,
again,
if I do it, I may feel good, and I may solidify our friendship more.
Fine. Then that's fine. Again,
well, that's people pleasing, but it's to a positive end.
It's not people pleasing if it gives you a good feeling.
Ah, I see.
It's not.
If there's some positive out of it, then it's not people pleasing.
Again, going back to the difference between people pleasing and kindness. So kindness is, yes, maybe I'm busy, but I do something for you and I feel good about it. And I'm like, yes, I could help him. He feels better. He's relieved with this, and he was so stressed. But if, again, this becomes a pattern and I help him and then come home and I feel resentment, and then think that, feels that tension and not, I'm so happy that I could help today.
It's great having you here. Always. And I appreciate this book. I mean, the message is strong and resonant. If somebody picks up this book, if somebody 10 years from now says, hey, did you read that book Enough Already by Sara Rahimi? What's the greatest take? What would you want them to say that they took away from this?
I want them to learn to be kind to themselves, and do good things to themselves while they do good things to others. Not just pleasing others to fit in because they think that they're not enough, because we are enough.
Great to have you here.
Thank you. Thank you, Jian.
Always nice to have Sara Rahimi here in the studio. I think she was people-pleasing with that interview. She was pleasing you, I hope. Although, what kind of damage will that do to her? Enough Already is the name of the book. Get it now. It's already on the bestseller list in Canada. You can get it anywhere in the world on Amazon. Thanks again to Sara. This is Full Time for this edition of Roqe. Remember, the new season of Roqe starts Thursday, September 10th. We're looking forward to that. In the meantime, next week on this show, Soli, the great Soli, who just turned 80 years old, Redux, on this program. Thank you to the amazing team, the core team who puts this show together each week. Super Parisa, Savvy Roham, and the photo and video queen, Tina Farahi. Special thanks as well to Smart Pega, Charming Kimia, Talented Anahita, Methodical Kaveh, and the TRK, the Rising Keon, for your help. Thank you to all of you out there for supporting us and sharing our content. Remember, you can subscribe on any or all of our platforms. It is free. You can find us on Instagram at Roqe Media. You can find me on Instagram with my name at Jian Ghomeshi. And as ever, heed this advice. Mizun Bashin.